Well, it's still a political stew here on TVC. And by the way, the governors, we understand, have all agreed to make 22,000 naira the minimum wage for workers in Nigeria. How that will be accepted by the labor unions and the workers is what we hope to see in the days ahead. But joining me now is Okenna Nnebedum. He's an attorney at law, and we're still looking at 2019. Good to have you join us, Mr. Nnebedum.
Thank you. Thank you, Nigerians.
I like it when, political analysts and lawyers like you come in, because your views definitely is quite different from what we see the politicians, bring on the table. Tell us how you've been, watching the move towards 2019. We've seen all the movement, and as I did say earlier on, we're likely to see pretty much movement again just before the year runs out. Looking at the primaries to start with from the APC, and some governors are kicking, some individuals are kicking. What does that tell you in a nation where an incumbent, foists and gives the people, someone to succeed him? There's no how yet.
It is a painful one, so I must tell you. Your use of euphemism excites me. To hit the nail on the head, it's better said that cross-carpeting has never ended, or the seasons of transfer has never ended.
The transfer season is more like it.
We are still going to witness more. And for the fact that before and during their recess, the National Assembly was heated up. And for the fact that at resumption, they were able to, mellow down on their demands, or some of their gunpowder they have, snuffed up ever since the recess lasted. I could have told you that they opted for a political solution. And you can see nothing less than 35% of them not returning back.
Nothing less than 35%
yes,
not coming back.
At least after the various primaries, there are about 49 or 59 of them that are not coming back. In Lagos, at least, we have about 2 of them. So, and in various other states, in fact, the whole of Bayelsa state senators are not coming back, although that one is an arrangement that they have. That I think, going by what Senator Bembry said, that they want to afford opportunities for more people to be exposed to that kind of opportunity. So coming back to the governors themselves and what you said, hoisting a successor is a dangerous trend. It has lasted with us since 1999 up to the 2003 elections, 2007 to 11, 15, and right now. And one would call them bad losers.
Bad losers?
Bad losers. And it is the brewing problem between the APC national chairman right now and some state governors who wouldn't want to take their feet from the ballot box of their party primaries. If they accept the principle of direct primaries like the chairman announced earlier on, they will be losing control, because it is in the indirect primaries that they infiltrate some of their aides and delegates into the list, and then they are in control. So it is just all about control. I would want to ask people, if you've done so well, why get interested on who succeeds you? Posterity will judge you for the better. You understand? And allow a transparent system. If your candidate emerges, after all, as a governor or as whoever, you have one vote. Your vote is not equated to anything more than the vote of the ordinary woman who sells crayfish in the market. So it's a dangerous trend in Nigeria that we've not gotten it right in our political system. Irrespective of what the law says, like you said, we lawyers will come to air some of our views differently. Our laws are, not perfect. There are no perfect legal system in the whole world, but we have to make do with what we have with us. The judiciary in itself has come to the aid of politicians and the ends of themselves. You have the case of Obi, the INEC, you have the case of Amechi, and INEC, and you have the case of 5 governors during the twin light days of President GEJ. And the 5 of them came to court and they were imagining in their own interpretation that they were going to be allowed to extend their tenure, but the Supreme Court said no. The facts of other cases you were cited were not on all fours for the Supreme Court to apply it to your favor. And today, we are expecting that through the ballot box, the statement has not been made to the satisfaction of the Ekiti people, nor the Osun State people. We are heading, the Ekiti State Tribunal is ongoing. The parties have been served, and we hope to see what interpretation the judiciary will have to give them. The point I'm trying to make is that the judiciary has always come to, the aid of the lacunas in our laws, which politicians take advantage of.
Why do they like, they call it loopholes?
Sure.
Why is it deliberately done? Because one would have thought that when you have a process that is transparent, a process that can actually spring up someone who's solely chosen by the people, would make everyone, congratulate themselves, just the way we've seen the PDP did during the convention. Because the convention of the PDP is one example that many thought would have actually given the APC a lead in its direct primaries in some states. But some governors are still kicking, with some threatening to leave the APC.
The APC itself is smattering up with what happened to the PDP when you are in power. And what is trending right now in Nigeria is very good. Gone are the days of the bandwagon effect. Just because a party is in power, any anointed candidate, be the person incompetent, unqualified, unpopular, the person gets to be voted for in a manner that is not transparent. Gone are those days. And then this is the trend that is happening right now. And that is why I felt so bad that the governors or the people who are supposedly want to transform into godfathers are not having their way. But
want to transform into godfathers?
Godfathers. Yes, political system in Nigeria is about investment. I call them political investors because the way the political parties are supposed to raise their funding, make expenditures, are not transparent. The electoral law merely stipulates that you spend this much from the office of the councillor, chairman, state assembly, governor, up to the president. They cap it up to about 2 billion, right?
I see a smile in your face,
yes.
Because it's laughable, isn't it?
It's laughable because there are no benchmarks on how to get those, figures
and
verified.
For a system that still runs a cash-based, that is strictly almost cash-based, how do you gauge that?
So I ask you that. To our very eyes and to the glazed viewership of the whole world, some people visited our sitting president and handed him a check of 45 million or nomination funds bought with a check of 45 million. Did I ask them where they get the money from? Or is it taking advantage of the loophole that didn't identify how a person's campaign organization should run? Did the law specifically put it that if you are a candidate, you must form a quasi-NGO, register with the CAC, and then open a bank account that will be tied to your name and tied to EFCC and tied to a BVN, such that you don't make expenses for your political campaign except through a cashless system from that particular account. In that way, one would have been laying an alibi that I was on my own. People who loved me just bought form for me and brought me. So you cannot equate the 45 million into my 2 billion. You see, that way they are dodging a way of getting themselves on the wrong side of the law. And those are the incapacitations we have from INEC. INEC itself has enough on its hands to conduct elections, let alone to take up the secondary arm of punishing electoral offenses. It has never been done in the history of this country. As a build-up to the Osun election, remember, with what happened in Ekiti about buying of votes, INEC came up with a policy that if anybody is caught, they will be prosecuted. Up till now, we've not seen anybody caught, not prosecuted, even though the police paraded some people.
No, I'm thinking, because you said something which is very key and germane here. You said they're trying to transmute into godfathers, which is very important. And if we say our democracy must move on and grow out of the woods, how do we, the people, make them understand that we don't need your godfatherism? It is he or she we want, that we want to see fly the party's flag, because as it is now, we don't have independent candidacy yet in Nigeria.
Your question is well answered by the incident that happened in Lagos, the Ambode incident. So your question falls in place. What did Lagosians do? It was a fight, seemingly between a godson and a godfather. But the narratives that are out on social media and everywhere is that there's a breach on the master plan of Lagos. And there's also a disconnect between the incumbent governor and the party hierarchy. I want to say, with the benefit of hindsight, that while Fashola SAN lasted as the governor of Lagos State, he concentrated his skills on governance, while for him, the godfather was doing the politicking. And he is, the Chekaban today, he is a product of the class of 99 that I told you about that have built up themselves into godfathers. And even the big fish in Akwa Ibom state politics, that is what is going to happen in the Niger Delta right now. As to the contest.
Do they have a big fish in Akwa Ibom politics?
Senator Akwa Ibom is not a mean person. It's not just a
It's not a fry.
It's not a fry. He's a big one. And going by those kind of transmutation into godfatherism, one would begin to ask, do you have any skeleton in your cupboard? Even though we know that most of them get out of power richer than they got into power. And sometimes too, because of what it takes to organize elections in Nigeria or to contest effectively. Why are you not hearing the Showaris? Why are you not hearing about the Mogalus? Because the amount of cash you need to mobilize across the 36 states of the Federation and to make yourself popular with seemingly what has come to paint us black as what we call the stomach infrastructure. You want me to name it?
No, go ahead.
You see, at the point...
You got a pot behind you.
Yes. A governor walked into FCC and was also, distributing his stomach infrastructure there. And you come to see that sometimes some governors get to the petty point of even using wheelbarrows or meshai to do stomach infrastructure. It is laughable. Those things cannot put food on the table. And they are emergency in nature.
But again, how do we change the narrative now? We're moving closer home now. How do we change the narrative? Because it would seem as if, while the people have been so impoverished, mentally, to the extent that they don't actually get to think that this is just a short-term measure and deception sometimes. And they've also been impoverished physically to the extent that they feel the bite of the hunger in their stomach. So how can we, in what language, in what term, should we now be speaking to the people so that they understand when you come with the shai, with the tea and the bread, the masa, the fura and the rice, and someone will look in the eye and say, no, this is not what I want. I'm going to vote the way I want to vote, even though I'm hungry. I just want a system that will stop this hunger and even put maybe food on the table of generations yet unborn.
There are two schools of thought. One school of thought will tell you, these are my money. These are taxpayers' money being stolen, given back to us. First of all, I collect the money. is Nigerian money, and then vote my conscience. Another school of thought would be your postulation that you resist it and then do take advantage of technology, which our voting pattern, voting system has not really accepted. We've been battling with ordinary card reader, let alone voting from the comfort of your room, from the comfort of your office, or voting within 24 hours from various devices. It is really a challenge because once that is done, you experience the likes of what happened in Europe, the youth quake. The youth will use their knowledge of technology and their numerical strength in the population to vote out or to change the status quo. And Nigerian youth have the potential to get that done. But our political system, our voting pattern does not really. A voting pattern where you have limitation as to how you even get your PVC. If today, perchance you are in financial transactions with your bank and then your ATM card runs out, you get into any branch at all, whether you are in Sokoto, whether you are in Zamfara State, you get into there and then get your. But today in Nigeria, to get your PVC, it seems like even going to the moon. So these are part of the impoverishment, systemic impoverishments, and the youth cannot come out of it. Youth have greater alternatives in the class of presidential materials that I've just mentioned. But the narratives are about just today.
I think it's a fine place for us to leave it now, talking about the alternatives which the Nigerian youth can actually key in or latch onto. I hope we can actually keep this conversation going. Many thanks for joining me, Okenna Nnebedum.
Thank you very much.
I'm trying to know how to pronounce it.
Correct.
I got that correctly. Many thanks. He's an attorney at law. Well, as a wrap on the show, a quick reminder here. Nigerian governors have all agreed that the minimum wage for the Nigerian workers is pegged at 22,000 naira. Yeah, you can count that on your fingers. But that's it. 22,000. I was living the 500 naira. 22,500 naira. You know, 500 naira can actually do something for some people, but well, that's it. Well, we'll keep the conversation going, and well, don't forget to be part of it. You have our social media handles right there on your screen, and don't forget again to get the Political Stew app. Just you search for Political Stew on the Google Play Store and download. I'm Sulaiman. I'll see you again.